Hi everyone, welcome to Be an Artist. I'm here today with Tarek Kwiss, also known as Bella Shait within the drag community. Hi Tarek,
Hey, how's it going?
thanks so much for joining me.
Of course, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Let's get into it.
Yes, when I first met you, were just kind of starting out in teaching and choreographing, and I used to be part of your hip hop group, but you really did so many more things since then. Can you catch us up a little bit how your journey's been so far?
Yeah, I mean, since you joined the company, which was Gawz, that was like the beginnings of the brand, which was to innovate and unite the creative industries. I took that and made it into a mini agency, which for about a year, 2 years, worked with major brands and getting dancers work within their individuality, within their talent more than anything else. And now we are a lifestyle brand, bringing more people together, embracing who we are, and just encouraging everyone to be you, free, and fabulous.
Amazing. So, do you still do choreography and stuff like that though? Yeah.
Yeah, I still choreograph. I've been doing a lot of more choreography, artistic direction. I've been, of course, teaching within the UK and working with underground artists who are slowly coming out to create their visions for their music videos, which have been super fun the past 2 years. But within that, I still do my dancing side. So I do a lot of content creating for brands at the moment. To within my dance field as well as drag at times. So yeah, doing a mix of everything, but it feels like nothing, if that makes any sense. Like it feels like I'm doing one thing, but really I'm doing like a ton.
Um, we with the former guests on the podcast, we talked a lot about the artist as an entrepreneur because I think it's really important that you don't just sit and wait for opportunities, but you actually create your own opportunities as you go along. And I think you have done that a lot in your life, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had to no, not had to. I think one of my things for me was I had all these ideas. I was like, who's gonna give it to me? No one. So I need to do it. I need to, put my ideas out there, try and make it work. And if it works, it does. If it doesn't, it's fine. As long as I know I put all my heart into it, then it's all good. And I think a part of that was also the fact that, growing up within the industry, I didn't really find someone who I can relate to, who I can, be put side by side with. And everyone just kept telling me all these like different words and blah, 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 for reasons why I'm not, on the forefront or whatnot. And I was like, you know what? Well, I'm going to create that for myself and I'm going to be the forefront in my own fantasy. And here we are, years later, making it work.
Amazing. Yeah, I think people get that a lot. They have opinion about what you should be doing rather
Yeah, they
than just let
do.
people be.
Let people be. I think because they have, I guess it all comes down to, generations, like what they know from the previous generation, what they've been told, and no one has ever really wanted to or tried to branch out. There's only very few of us that do branch out and create like big names for ourselves. And I remember someone telling me when it was a few years ago, and it was like, look at this person, they've never been put in the forefront, and they went to one audition for a big artist and they booked it after like 7 8 years of struggling, and I was like, you know what, that's my inspiration. I'm going to keep doing that.
When you years ago, when you started going to New York, you came, you were like raised in London, you trained in London, um, but you also had periods of time where you just saved up money, went to New York for a few weeks, took loads of classes, came back. You always were super inspired, and you did that quite a bit, didn't you? What was different, what you experienced in New York? Because you literally came back with like so much inspiration, like surrounding you, bouncing off the walls. So, can you share a little bit what the big thing was, like
Yeah, of
Golden
course.
Grail in New York?
Yeah, of course. The big thing was the energy. Like the city gave me so much raw energy, that enlightened me. That gave me that gave me the life that I needed. And taking classes with people that I felt was exactly the style that I was doing, exactly the style that I looked for, and getting that recognition from a city that I'm not even born and bred in was phenomenal. Simply because I didn't get that in London, and all of that putting it together, and people telling me inspirational words really lit me up and helped me keep on going, number one, and helped me inspire others within London, and just had this ball of energy radiating throughout me to just create and do all these things. And I want to go back again so I can get that energy again. So it became a repetitive thing, or a repetition in a better way to say it. And it just started to become like my home, and I just felt like this is where I need to be, this is where it has to happen. So I just grew from there, and I now made New York my city in some kind of respect.
Did you ever think about moving there?
Yeah, I was on a whole journey of moving there, like getting my visa together, figuring out how I can get there, sponsors, all that jazz, and did a whole year of researching, applying, and figuring out different ways and avenues to move to New York in the best way possible. I got my profile together. I was speaking to lawyers, and I was actually at that time I was working in a nursery who also had a branch in New York, and I was figuring out if there's a way I can transfer there and then maybe do that for a while until I could get my feet on the ground, and able to leave and get another sponsor. But then that all kind of like stopped because a lot of things happened within myself, like within my health, and then politics changed, and I was like, you know what, maybe this is not the time right now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Um, was it ever hard for you to say that you're an artist, or did you always stand by I'm Tarek, I'm an artist?
Hard to say. No, not really. However, it it was a journey at a point where I was like, okay, I can say it now. I am an artist because I do more than one thing. So for me, an artist is you being able to go into different categories and able to do many different things within your field. So once I realized that, I was like, yes, I am an artist. Here we go.
All right. Um, so your company is called Gauze. How did you come up with the name Gauze?
Gauze came about in like 2013. Yeah, 2012, 2013. And it came about because I was just writing words. I was like, I need something. I need to figure out another side of me. What is it? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just writing words that were very popular back then. And one of them was swag. And I was like, what if I wrote this backwards? How does it sound? And I really enjoyed the sound of it. And then I changed the S to a Z simply because it looked kind of cool. And then if there was any issues, there won't be because it's not been taken, out there in the world. And then I was like, wow, Gauze, I actually really like it. And I was like, this is going to do something. This is going to be something. So there it was. That's how it came about. It's not the biggest story, but it's a story, right?
Do you still have the logo with
Yeah.
2 fingers or three?
There's
2 fingers.
Gauze to innovate and unite. It's always there. It's now elevated, and we have two different logos. So this is obviously the OG one, and then there's one of this like character who is sitting on the floor, cross-legged, arms up, and just being free and fabulous. And it's going to be it is ignited within the brand now. I'll be using it a lot more. Yeah.
So we already spoke about your company. That was probably one of the first companies you did, or the the
Uh-huh.
the original Gauze. How did you approach creating a company?
So at the beginning, I had the word, then I decided on the logo, and then I started speaking to Zoe Ann Aston, who was the founder of Interlude and what was back then Interlude Gauze, because it was kind of combined. And she helped me get the logo done, and then get the word out there, get the t-shirts done, and then get the group together. And then after that, I got to a point where I was like, what do I want to do with this? What's the next step for Gawz? And it was the agency. Now, doing this was difficult because I didn't have the team behind me. I didn't have the funds behind me. And I came across Louise, who we were just having a chat and talking. And she was like, well, if you want, I can help you do like the logistics, get you off the ground. And in return, we'll do like a training sessions and like help her get into a dance industry a bit more and blah blah blah. And I was like, perfect, like let's do it. Let's make this work. So we started meeting up and discussing how to do things. She was teaching me the business aspects of things. She was telling me to get these files together, get these links together, get these contacts, start contacting people, blah blah blah. And it just started building from there. So getting off the ground was a lot at one time, but also it was fantastic because then I was learning things on the way. I had someone to help me, which was fantastic too. I think to get a brand off the floor, you need a team, and that's one thing I've always strived for, is having a team. So at that moment, that's how it happened and how it worked. And now taking that next chapter, I'm looking for another strong team to make it go far and beyond. But it's all a process. It's all a process. We just have to believe.
Do you think the time that you spent choreographing really helped with being on the director side of things? Because you had to develop this eye from the outside, like this third person watching had to be always there because you were dancing in the group, but you were also choreographing. So you always had to have, yeah, always had to be able to visualize how something
Yeah,
looks.
yeah. So that did help. Yeah, choreographing, obviously, I guess choreographing is my tool. That's like the staple of what I do mostly at the moment. And having that vision helps putting it onto dancers, but then also trying to figure out how to bring that vision to life and also be involved in the performance was a big thing to try and like figure out the best way to do it. But then halfway down the line, I realized that being in two places at once can be a lot. So I was like, I would pick and choose my visions of where I would be in it and where I'm not. And I remember, who was it? I think I was choreographing for a music video, and she was like, oh, I'd love for you to be involved in it too. And I was like, actually, no. I was like, I'm going to stay out of this one because I want to make sure that, choreography wise, everything is there and it looks good from my angle instead of me trying to focus on putting myself in. So it helped, but it also kind of hindered because then there were moments where, I can't see what's going on while we're filming or while we're performing. So then I can't I can't tell if I should change something or not. So yeah.
So a more recent project, I don't even remember when it started because I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time, but at the same time, it doesn't feel so long. But at some point, you started Bella Shahid, which was completely different from what I knew you do before.
Mm.
How did that come about?
So Bella Shahid came about in 2018, and well, late 2018. It was like October around those times, and it came about because I'm a big fan of Drag Race, and that season in 2018, which I think was season 11. Um, was it season 11? No, it was season 10. It was season 10, and there was a lot of queens that I could relate to in that season, and they had so much stories. And I remember watching an episode and I was like, maybe this is what's missing. Maybe there's something, a part of me that is not, I can't really bring out. And that's what's holding me back. So in that summer, I started playing about with makeup. I started doing research about drag makeup and how to put it together, what's the whole scene about, blah, blah, blah. And I started making, doing different faces, trying to figure out my shades and all that jazz. And as soon as I saw the face, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is another part of me that I want to explore and I want it to grow. So I kept with it, and then I started getting wigs involved. I started getting like gowns involved, started doing photo shoots, and it just really brought another side of me that I've always had. As you know, like I've always had that feminine side of me, and I always like do heels choreography and dancing heels and stuff. And I think this was just like having another having my alter ego, but as a person, you
Mhm.
know? So it was very refreshing to see. And that's how it came about. I was watching Drag Race, it inspired me, I can relate. And then I started, you know, exploring, and here she is, Bella Shahid, out in the world.
Did you ever try to keep it, were you ever thinking about keeping it separate as a brand, or did you always mix it up?
My first thought was to keep it separate as a brand. So I created the different account for Bella Shahid on socials. And I've always wanted to do that because anything I do, I feel like Tarek is someone different to Gawz, and then Gawz is different to Bella. Do you know what I mean? So as much as they are all connected as one, because it is me and it all has the same kind of message, I still wanted it to be their own identity. Saying that, right now, I've had moments and times of being like, you know, maybe I should infuse it. Maybe I should put it together. So maybe I should call my actual page Bella, and that's that, or you know, whatever. But I don't want to do that right now, and I don't think I will in the future, because simply because Tarek is known for the dance side of things. So if I was to like switch that up right now, it would just be really real messy. We don't want that right now. But I am infusing Gauze and Tarek together. I do put a few makeup looks on my Tarek page, but it's not necessarily drag. It's more like boy drag, I call it. So yeah, it's like a mix and match, but they have their own identities.
All right, yeah. That's that's cool because like I think a lot of people that do more than one thing struggle with that too. Is like, should you have three different profiles, but at the same time it's all me? But then somehow when you want to work professionally, the client has to know what he gets, so you don't want them to be distracted also by like, one, for example, when I go for a contemporary dance job, I don't want to have a lot of tap videos in my application because that's not what I'm applying for.
Yes, that makes sense. It's true. I mean, when it comes to like castings and jobs and stuff, you just need to read the brief and like make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and you're showing them what you think they want to see. But that's the thing, like that's something I've always struggled with, is finding a niche. Because for me, I have many niches and I can be a jack of all trades, but trying to be a master of one has always been difficult because I'm always like, but I want to do this, I want to do that. And you know what, like as much as maybe people have said, or as much as maybe I feel that it has hindered me, I feel like it has helped me as well, because a lot of doors has opened beyond what category, you know, agencies want me to be in, or clients want me to be in. So
Do you still do mentorship programs with?
kind of, yeah. So I within Gauze, I used to do like dance intensives, and before that, within Gauze as well, I did like mentoring programs within my classes. So which you were involved in. I remember like in the first start of it, and what I've done now with it is that I created like a free 3 month intensive, where we meet once a week, and it will be 2 hours of class, and we'll train, and I'll give them feedback, mentor them with what they need and how I can feel that they can develop within their craft. And then I've now taken that and made it into a dance intensive in New York. So what I do is I take dancers from here, from London, who have signed up, and take them to New York to train privately with a few faculty members that I have trained with over there, and know that can give them great wisdom, and within the same kind of message that I am, within encouragement and all that jazz, and give them private sessions with them, as well as taking class at Broadway Dance Center, as well as experiencing the city, because as we spoke about earlier, the city gave me so much
Mm,
energy. It made me find who I was, and that's what I wanted to bring or give to people.
mm.
So the first one was in 2019, and it was incredible. I mean, it went far and beyond my expectations. Everyone came back refreshed, alive, and wanting to stay there, wanting to go back. And I thought, you know what, my work is done. Like, that's great. So I was working towards season two, but then the pandemic hit. So hopefully season two will be in 2022. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I've heard this dance studio slowly opening over there again.
Yeah, they are, as well as here. So fingers crossed,
Yeah. So you don't go with that group. You just basically give them a schedule and the information and they go on their own, or do you fly with them?
I'm there as well. I don't fly
Oh,
with them.
okay.
I get there like a few days. I get there a few days before they get there. Basically, it's a package, and they pay for this package, and I organize everything like flights, accommodation, classes, travel, all that jazz.
Mhm.
And I give them an itinerary, for example, because there were set classes within the week, so their itinerary will be that, as well as other things we'll do together as group activities, just to have fun, get to know each other, all that jazz. And then everything else, the rest of the time is free, so it's open for them to do as they please. And I told them before we went and when we were there. And I said to them, it's very important that you do things on your own, because you need to go and have an adventure, find yourself within the elements of the city. And they did, but most of the time they were always together. And that was lovely. It was beautiful, because then it just meant that they got along, and it was, a good family. And that made me happy. But I was also like, you can go and do things by yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be, all together with everyone at the same time. But yeah, I was there with them. It was great. And I look forward to doing it again.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
also I think cities like New York has a lot to offer, but sometimes when you go for the first time, I feel like you have to go two, three times before you even know what you can do there. So I think it's a great opportunity to have someone share their network with them, because I think
Yeah.
it took me like two, three times to even know where I want to study. Like, now I know if I would fly to New York tomorrow, I know where to practice piano, I know where to dance, I know,
Right.
where to work.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I think this has taken them there, and obviously knowing the teachers who taught them and people within the city, they were able to, go to events. They were able to get involved with like showcases, or be just being part of a community, which was fantastic, because some of them they got invited to Whacking Invets, they got invited to like a summer ball or whatnot, and it was wonderful. It was beautiful to see. So yeah,
That's amazing. You still teach. Currently, the studios are closed, but finger crossed they're gonna open soon. What does teaching mean to you?
teaching means so much to me. It brings me joy to teach others and see, first of all, my vision on other dancers, and see what I've created on other people. It also means a lot to me because I see growth in other people, and I love seeing that. I love seeing people come to my classes um, consistently, and just seeing them grow as individuals. That really makes me happy. So it means joyfulness. It means, oh, I don't even know, like enjoyment. It means that I can give a part of me to people, and just seeing them take that and grow is fantastic. So yeah, I love teaching. It's one of my daily joys, I guess.
Amazing. How do you keep the balance between all the things you do?
And that's a really good question. I don't think I could have a balance, because there's just so much going on. I feel like I just go with one day at a time. That's how I'll answer it. Like one day at a time, whatever comes my way, I'll see if I can do it. If I can't, I've learned, because that's the big thing. I've learned to say no, and I've learned to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. But balancing it is just one of those things where, as artists, we just don't understand that. Like having time for ourselves, we don't understand that. We kind of just, whatever free time, if something pops up, we're like, yeah, why not? I'm not doing anything. But really, that free time should be used to re-energize, recoup, so we can be more creative. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so I found ways to do it. I just take it one step at a time. I organize my life, put it in my calendar, make sure I'm able to do it. And if not, leave it, because then if I do too much, then my vision is not going to be the best.
Mm.
So
I think
yeah.
that's a really important thing you said. You have to say no sometimes.
Yes, you do, and it's an important word to use, especially for our own well-being, because as artists, we're not supposed to be strained and stripped. We're supposed to be, valued for our time, number one, valued for our creativity. Like our vision or being creative is not something you put on paper. It
Mhm.
needs time, it needs nurturing. So if you're constantly doing something, where is the inspiration going to come from? And that's important. And the pandemic has really taught me that, because in the first one, in the first lockdown we had, I was really like, yes, yes, go, go, because really I just didn't. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make money, need to keep working, blah blah. But in the second one, I was just like, you know what, no. So I started stripping everything that I had going on. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to focus on this. Hey, blah blah. And that was wonderful. I really enjoyed doing that in the best way possible. And then if people did contact me, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. And it's helped me. It's helped me throughout this time. So it's important to say no.
Awesome. One last question. Where do you see Gauze going, or any of your brands going in future, in the next 5 years?
Yeah. So this question, it always comes up, of course. Never know how to answer it, because for me, the future is, the future is what it is. I think because I've gone through so many hurdles within my life, I've just felt like the future will be what it will be. Do you know what I mean? But where I see it, the other a few months ago, I was walking down the street and I said, in 2025, I want to be wearing all gauze. I'm going to be wearing my clothing. So the future is clothing line, full on clothing line, my designs, my creations. The New York intensive still happening and growing, making it an international thing. And with Bella, it's a it's more of a performing out there within the scene, because she hasn't been out in the scene. No one has really seen Bella except for my friends on Insta, all that jazz. So putting her out on the scene, making Bella known for who she is, and then choreographing for everyone and anyone. Let's get into it. That's the future.
Amazing. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to link all of Tarek's information in the description box so you can follow him, and hopefully going to buy some gauze gear when it's out as well. And
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
you guys next Sunday.
Bye.